So Christina asked a great question. She said that since African Americans have been leaving the Christian churches, and a lot, even more recently than in the past, now the churches are trying to make everything about the Bible being black. And, when I was growing up, they used to always have the little line that it doesn't matter, what color Jesus was. It doesn't matter what color the apostles were. There was always we're not really trying to focus on Jesus or the apostles being black. Now, common sense. You got desert dwelling people in the Middle East and North Africa. These Mediterraneans, they weren't white. But we didn't have the internet back in the day. Back in the day, you didn't have the internet. And plus, in, say, like the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s even, if black people were walking around saying Jesus was black, you know how the Caucasians would have responded to those in America or in Africa if they were saying this sort of thing. Pushing the Caucasian Jesus makes oppression easier over people of color. So we're not in that time frame anymore. And people are looking to build these mega churches. So in doing so, you got to keep black people in there, because in the 50s, 60s, weren't making enough money to build a mega church. But now black people are making enough money that you can have a mega church. And the pastors realize this. But with this influx of people leaving the church, it's dropping the funds. So the way to get them back into the church, and I'm going to show you a different video later, is to offer them some kind of connection to an image that looks like themselves. Even though it's the truth. It would be a true statement, though. That's the thing about it. They're not reaching. It's a true statement that the people, as described, those tribes, they would have been of color. And then, of course, as the Greeks controlled, as the Romans controlled, they may not have been as dark as me, because all that inbreeding, crossbreeding, I should say, not inbreeding, crossbreeding, but they still would have been brown. So that part actually does work for them. And it is something that can bring some African Americans back to the church, because let's be honest, walking away from this religion is probably one of the most difficult things that a person would ever have to go through. All the emotional stress that they would have to go through, the losing of family and friends and mistreatment by society, all these things they'll have to go through to walk away from it. So it's easier just to make it fit into a balanced kind of way that I can have one foot in and one foot out. I can believe in the Bible that is for us, but they've changed the story. But if they've changed the story, you don't know what parts of the story they've changed. You don't know what part you're supposed to be believing and what part you're not supposed to be believing. You're still accepting turn the other cheek and love your enemy and all that other BS. You're still supposed to follow these commandments. What, you just don't want to follow the parts that says render unto Caesar what is Caesar? You don't want to follow the parts that says that whatever government was appointed over you, then you are supposed to abide by that government because God put that person in place and put that government in place? That means that black people shouldn't complain about Trump when he was in office. Shouldn't complain about Biden when he was in office. Shouldn't complain about Obama when he was in office. Shouldn't complain about the Bushes when they was in office. You should just accept it. People on the totalitarian regime should just accept it because that's what God ordained. See, they may want to say, nah, that part was added to the Bible. That part was changed. That's not the part. That's the European government, the Romans trying to take control. Probably is. But if they created the entire story, it's not a book for us because it's not a book by us. At least not my ancestors. My ancestors come from West Africa. Ain't got nothing to do with the Mediterranean. So y'all have a great day. Remember always, you got to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.